Three, two, one.
Yes, so we are live, Liz.
Wee! Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hi,
My name is Liz.
everyone.
Yep. And that's Cardeen. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn today, the wealth mindset. This is really for you if you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of pressure about money, really want to learn how to take decisive action and procrastinating about your wealth. You know you are. But you want to be able to do that with ease and calm because we know the best decisions come when we're in a state of peace. There's some days when you might be scattered or feel flustered, when you see the bills piling up and you don't know where to start. Today, we're going to show you how to prioritize your mindset as well as some things that might help you get started. That's why both of us are here to help you with that. As well as, I know myself, I've struggled in the past with getting motivated because I thought it was so overwhelming to talk about my financial situation and really came from a place of financial insecurity. So that's what we're going to talk about today because you can make progress towards your future health. So, to make the most out of this webinar today, I really want you to really be fully present. So if you've got your phone nearby, turn it over so you don't see all the notifications popping up, turn it off. Turn off your notifications on your everywhere that you can so you don't get interrupted. And make sure you have a pen and paper because there's going to be some writing down stuff. You're going to want to write some things down. And of course, the chat's open. So please, if you have any questions for us, the chat's there. And also comment because that's what keeps Cardeen and I really pumped and going, right, Cardeen? If we get those chat going. And then stay till the end because both of us have a gift for you. And so that's it. I'm just going to give a little bit of information about me, just a minute, and then I'm going to pass it on to Cardeen so she can introduce herself as well. So really, I've been in the training and development field for, over 20 years. And one of the things I found was that there was no point in giving people the skills and abilities training. So even though I do give a little bit in that area, it's really focusing on their mindset because I found that there's a lot of sabotage patterns that we all have. And it's really our thinking. Our thinking really holds us back. So I coach people a lot on metacognition and meta feeling so that they can really observe it and change it. So that's what I do now. So sometimes you don't know what you don't know. I myself have hired coaches in the past and recognize I was one of those, I can do it myself. I read a lot of books. I can do this, but then I found I really wasn't. So anyways, and that's enough about me. How about yourself, Cardeen?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining in. My name is Cardeen Williams. I'm a personal finance coach as well as an insurance strategist. So, as Liz said, wealth does begin in the mind, right? What we focus on is what we get. So, we're going to dive in today. We're going to aim to break some of those limiting beliefs, those thoughts that hold us back from growing our wealth and taking control of our money. So, as we go into the conversation, this is the framework that we'll use to guide our discussion. And Liz will be able to talk about each section in great detail, and we'll just dive into look at some of the thoughts that we have in our minds that keep us trapped and stuck when it comes to money. So as we get into the presentation, I just wanted to just set the stage for the importance of what we believe. There's a popular saying that where I come from that says, belief kills and belief cures. Henry Ford, his quote is, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're right. Tony Robbins, nothing has any power over me other than that which I give it through my conscious thought. Mary Morrissey, what you focus on, you create. So focus your attention consciously and do not allow your attention to stray to the results that you aren't interested in manifesting, because you can and you will create more of what you are focusing on. So hopefully this sets the stage for our conversation, so you understand the power of belief, the power of our thoughts as we dive in. So Liz, you might want to talk about this framework that you have here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a framework that's the big problem that I see from working for so many people is really not taking the time to educate themselves and recognize that they have a growth mindset. You know, if you've read that book by Carol Dweck, it's really taking a look at how your beliefs, which are, which are powerful. We learn it from when we were a child. It's something that we even adopted. So it's certain assumptions that we make about money, like money is evil, or money, we may have heard our parents say money doesn't grow on trees, money's hard to make. Money is, only, rich people are blank, fill in the blank, whatever rich people, your parents taught you about. And it's really, yeah, there we go. And it's really about taking a look at how those beliefs are really part of your attitude. And we also know, if you've ever learned, I know when I was growing up, they always said your attitude determines your altitude. But I never really understood what that means until now, until following that framework. So, yeah, so there's a few more on there, Cardeen. Is there ones that kind of stand out for you when you're working with people?
Yes, so these are some of the things that we hear over and over again. We hear them in our self-talk, right? Or we hear people say them and we choose to believe them, right? And as you said, Liz, our beliefs kind of set our cap, right? So the more you level up your beliefs, the more you level up your potential. And I have a few there that I personally have struggled with, right? For example, more money, more problems, right? We believe that with money comes stress, and that's not necessarily true, right? And another one, we need money to make money. Actually, you don't need money to make money. You need creativity, you need courage. Those are the things that you'd want to implement and do in your life every day to ensure that you have good money beliefs. Another one is money is evil. When you think about money, money is a piece of paper, right? It's a tool. It has no belief system. It has no agenda. We attach meaning to stuff in our lives, right? So decide to attach a meaning to money. It's in the hands of whomever, right? It's the person who holds money who decides what they do with it. Good people do good things with money. Bad people do bad things with money, right? So again, money has no agenda. Money is not, we don't have to trade off things. We don't have to trade happiness for money, right? They can coexist. So that's another limiting belief that I've heard, right? Rich people might be
Exactly.
miserable, or money can't buy happiness, right? Those are myths and they're not true.
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought up about money. It's just paper, but there's a reason why they call it currency, right? There's sort of a energetic. I don't know if you've ever heard about that, but some people may have. There's an energetic quality to money. I mean, it's been around for a very long time. So whenever they started it, thousands of years ago, they called it currency. So really the challenge is that people attach, like you said, Cardeen, is they attach a meaning. They experience money, maybe they've lost some money, maybe they're in debt, maybe, they've heard their parents or teachers, somebody, experience, get anxious or nervous about it. And so they've adopted that into their own being, when really you got to start, you've made certain assumptions about it, and it's questioning it. And we're going to talk about that in a little while too, about how to question your beliefs. And that sort of thing. So what I was trying to say is, really, when you think about it as being currency, it's kind of like an electrical flow. When you block it and you restrict it with the limiting beliefs, you're blocking money flowing through you. It's really just, there's got to be a reason for money to flow through you too. There's got to be a why, right? And if you keep thinking about the lack and you don't have, that's what you're going to get more of. So that's what those limiting beliefs really do, is just create that financial insecurity.
Yes. And as Mary Morrissey, what you said just brought back a sentence from Mary Morrissey when she was talking about money and she was at a seminar. She said that the presenter brought up money and he was talking about how he loved money, right? Right. And she got repelled, right? And he brought it to her cognition that if you found that distasteful, if you don't love money, money knows it, right? And it won't come into your life. So our thoughts kind of put a block or opened up doors depending on what we think. So let's look
Exactly.
at some of the negative money thoughts that we have. We think that money is complicated, right? Because of what we hear in the news, what's in our environment, but we can simplify it, right? You can learn how to manage your money in stages, right? It's building a set of habits. I don't have money, so I can't make money. We mentioned that one before. I don't know how to manage money. And this is a simple fix. It's learning how to manage money, right? And
Exactly.
another one, I am always broke. And the thing is, our mind has a tendency to prove us right, right? So whatever we believe, our mind will do whatever it needs to make sure that we're right. So if you keep saying I am
Exactly.
always broke, you will be broke because your mind will find ways to make sure that money leaves your hands by the end of the month, right? So again, Liz, what do you think about some of these thoughts?
These are great, and I love the fact that you're relating it back. What you think about comes about in a way, right? Because it goes to that Henry Ford saying that you said earlier in the first slide as well. It comes from, there's nothing right or wrong. Like, I don't want people to, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, or I need to fix this. There's really nothing to fix. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that something that you learned from childhood. You saw your parents, or maybe something happened to you when you were a kid. And so what happens is we adopt these as true because something makes us feel bad. And so because we feel bad, we have to assign a meaning to it, and it becomes part of our unconscious mind. It's just a pattern that you've grown up with. It's like tying your shoes or driving a car or opening a door using the doorknob. You don't even think about it. But as soon as you get that bill, right, you feel something come up. And we're going to talk about the feelings in a minute. That you feel something like in your stomach, pit of your stomach, or maybe your head starts throbbing, or you get tightness in your chest. People feel different things in different ways, but we're just learning to push through and just keep going. But that's the challenge. Becomes the point where, oh my God, it's becoming aware. Sometimes we may be aware, but we don't take the time, and that's what we're hoping to do today is just take that time. And it doesn't take very long to really take a look at what it is you're thinking and feeling.
Okay. And Liz, do you want to go into the feelings element of it now? Because
Sure.
that's the thing. Our beliefs impact our thoughts, and our thoughts impact our feelings, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think we can do this slide, and then I'll go into the two states.
Okay. So as a result of what we think about money and our beliefs, it can create certain results in our lives, right? And the results can be in our thoughts and also in our actions, right? We might trigger anxiety, right? We might trigger stress. We might create illnesses, depression, productivity issues at work, low self-esteem, problems in our relationships, right? So we need to understand how our beliefs and our thoughts impact how we our state and also the actions that we take. So for example, if we consider that we're always broke, it will lead to overspending, right? Because we believe this will always be our state, so the dollars will leave our hands, right? We might overuse debt, right? When we think that, okay, I'll never get out of debt, we'll just continue to use it irresponsibly. Or if we have a scarcity mindset, we might dollar hoard, right? We'll say, you know what, let me just hold on to what I have just in case I lose it. And that's not an effective way of growing wealth, right? You need to put money to work for you. And if you hold on to it tightly, it won't be able to work.
Yeah. And like the one that you've got there about failed to learn, that is so key. And and I'm an Oprah Winfrey fan. Any Oprah Winfrey fans out there, as well as Angela. And yeah, I just love Oprah. I remember her saying many years ago, and it took me a while to really understand it. And that was that mistakes are repeated until the lesson is learned. Because if we fail to learn, we're going to keep doing the mistakes over and over again. And part of it is, I'll equate it to when we were tying shoes, right? Somebody did it for you. So maybe here, you get your paycheck. from a month-to-month basis, but nobody's really helping you. I mean, I myself, I had to hire someone like Cardeen to help me figure out how to set up a budget, you know, where my money was coming in, where it was going out, and to show me where I could save. Maybe I had to cut back on a few things, but I didn't learn, and that was because I really wasn't shown. I didn't know what I didn't know. So it's kind of like tying shoelaces, right? Somebody's putting the shoes on and tying your shoes. So you're kind of watching that for a while, and you realize that, you know, there's this mechanism here that can help keep my shoes on, but I don't know how to do it. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, that was the hardest thing to do. And eventually you start wanting to learn yourself. So you grab the laces and you're trying to mimic what the other person was showing, but it wasn't working. And so you get even more frustrated and you give up because you're failing to learn. And that's the same thing that I see here with myself when it came to managing my money. Is really, I just gave up because I found it very overwhelming. I got stressed and looked at myself as a failure because I didn't know how to do it, rather than recognizing that it's just because the way I learn things, right? So you've got to, it comes with practice, and people like Cardeen and myself, I focus more on the mindset, but Cardeen can really focus on the wealth mindset, but it's showing you ways to practice, to learn and practice. It takes a lot of practice. Thank you for bringing up the two states of thinking and feeling. Exactly. There's two states of thinking and feeling. So when we're in the negative state, we're engaging, that's where we're doing that fight, flight response. Now that fight, flight response is really crucial. It's not something that you want to eliminate or get rid of. You may hear a lot of personal development speakers out there and gurus tell you, you know, I'm going to eradicate your past sabotage patterns and we're going to eliminate blah, 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 so that you'll be, it's not possible. Why? Because we still, that's why it's a good thing. We still need that survival mode. So we still need to know when there's a threat in our environment. The problem is oftentimes, you know, you get that bill in the mail, or, you know, something is due, or maybe your paycheck was less than it was because you had to take some time off. And so you go into this fight, flight response, and you see it as a threat, like a saber-toothed tiger, but it really isn't. What's happening here is you're engaging the sympathetic nervous system. That's what keeps you in that, gets the adrenaline, the cortisol, all those things going. That's what causes you stress and anxiety. The biggest thing that people have is worry and concern about money. So when you're worried and concerned about money, that keeps you in a negative state. And what we say is that calls, I don't know if we have a slide on that, Cardeen, remind me, but I think we talk about dis-ease, where, you know, there's a lot of sickness. People get irritable bowel syndrome, or you get a cold, or all those kind of things, because it lowers your immune system. So that constant worry, right, Cardeen, that constant worry about our finances causes financial insecurity. And that's what keeps perpetuating, and that keeps you in that negative state, right? Did you want to add something to that before we move on?
And we do talk about this because we want you to identify these thoughts and these beliefs in your own life, right? You need to identify your current money story, and in order to change it. So if you realize that you're thinking you have the beliefs that we mentioned a few slides back, or the thoughts that we mentioned a few slides back, identify them in your mind. Be conscious of what you're thinking, note them, and our goal is to help you replace them, right? I was listening to a presentation, the Grant Cardone presentation, right? And that's one of the things you have to do too. You have to seek out people who are where you are and learn from them. Take the bits and pieces that you can and implement them in your life. And what one of the presenters on the show mentioned is that he doesn't focus his time on the negatives, right? He will look at a problem, and that's how he spends maybe like 5% of his time. The rest of his time is focused on finding the solution, working on getting to the outcome that he desires, right? So when we see that we're triggered, we're stressed, we're anxious, we're overwhelmed, we become fearful, as Liz said, these are not bad feelings, right? We should use them as signals to say, this is where I'm at now, and I need to get out of this state because it's not necessarily helpful, right? So you see you're stressed, you're anxious, you're overwhelmed, you're fearful. what's the cause of it, what can I do to fix it, and you take action steps to get you to the outcome that you want. You don't stay in fear, you don't stay in stress, you don't stay in anxiety. And Liz, what are some of the techniques that they can use to change their state when they find that they're in that frame of mind?
Exactly. I'm gonna give an example that's related to my own personal, and even I've coached my clients on this. Is, I was worried about not having enough money and that I'd end up homeless and under a bridge, right? Well, the more I thought about that, the more lack it created in my life, the less able I was to really, do what I needed to do to secure clients. And so what I started to do is just ask myself 4 questions, and you can look these up. I modify it a little bit. It actually comes from Katie Byron. You've probably heard of her, and she just asks you 4 questions. Is it true? Is it true that I'm going to end up under a bridge? Well, no. Is it how do I know for certain that it's not true? Because I know that I have some money in the bank. So it's not true that I don't have any money in the bank. So I take a look at what I do have. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes. I have food in my fridge, and I have enough money to pay for some of the bills. I just want more. And then the third question is, who would I be if I didn't have this thought? Who would I be if I didn't have this thought? I'd be a lot more creative. I'd be able to look at the resources. I'd be able to reach out to people. What's Katie's full name? Katie Byron, Byron. Creative, I'm much more relaxed, because when you're stressed and negative, it creates a narrow focus and all you see is the lack, much like what Cardeen was telling you. But when you open up and say, well, that's not true, right? Can you see already that you're opening up to possibilities?
Yeah.
Right. So if I kept focusing on the lack, that's all I get. But if I see, well, that's not true, I actually have this amount, I just want more. So always look at where you are right now and what you have right now. And we'll talk a bit about that as well. So that's when you're thinking good thoughts. And I think you're going to slide on that, Cardeen, and you're going to talk to that about affirmations. They do help to create that positive mindset, to really take a look at, who would you be if you didn't have that thought about, being under a bridge? Well, I'd be the type of person that would get resourceful, to start getting creative about how I'm going to make money. So
yeah, and I'm going to reiterate it. Your belief sets the cap on your potential. So if you believe you can't, then you can't. If you believe you can, then you can. So that's why we're hammering it in, right? Be mindful of your thoughts, change your thoughts, right? And remember, do not make the situation worse than it is in your mind, right? See it for what it actually is. Okay, you don't have this yet, but that doesn't mean you can't have it tomorrow, the day after, the week after. What can you do now? What small action step can you take now to get you to where you want to be, right? Because without action, we cannot have the results that we want. And
exactly.
I want to talk about resentment and anger, right? Some of these might be self-directed, right? And some of these might be directed outwards. So even these thoughts can help you understand your money story. For example, resentment. One of the statements that we tend to say is, we tend to demonize rich people. And if we do that, we can never go there. Our minds will protect us from becoming that rich person, because we've demonized them in our heads, right? So be careful of what we think and what we how that impacts our outcomes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say one last thing there too, is like you said, there's nothing wrong with negative. Like, don't get me wrong, because we still need it. There may be an occasion where you need to worry about something, but don't judge yourself. Don't judge the situation or others because of it, but use discernment. Say, okay, I'm worrying about this, so what can I do about it? Right? It's kind of shift it into a positive. Like you said too, right? It's really a pay attention. When these negative feelings, it's just saying, pay attention to this. Turn it into something positive.
So it's a signal. And we come now into the steps that we can take to address our negative beliefs and our thoughts. And the one that we've been saying over and over again is be aware, right? be aware of what we're thinking, be aware of our thoughts, recognize them for what they are, right? So we can address them.
Exactly. I love that too. Affirmations, the positive statements. But it's not saying I am rich, because your brain's going to go, no, you're not. Right? So be careful with the affirmations. Say, I am making progress to creating wealth, because that's going to propel you forward. That's going to motivate you. So be careful with the affirmations. Yeah, definitely with, Did you want to talk about this one too? Be mindful of your thoughts.
Yes,
Beware
so
of
be
your
mindful of your thoughts. Instead of saying I am broke, right? Because you're trapping yourself in that state, say, you know what, I'm building my wealth every day, right? I'm taking steps every day to grow my wealth. Untrue beliefs, right? Uproot them and replace them. Rich people are evil, money is bad. You can say instead, money is a tool for me to serve and help others, right? Money is a tool that I use to provide for my family. Money is a tool that I use to serve my cause, whatever it is to empower you to take the next step in growing your wealth. Be aware of your state. Liz's slide had the different states that we had: the anxiety, the stress. Be aware of your state. Know what triggers you, so you can, instead of respond, you can react, right? So you don't go to that negative state and stay there. Again, where do you spend your focus? As Mary said, whatever you focus on, that's where your outcome is going to go, right? So you create your outcomes by what you expect. So spend your time, focus on 5% on your circumstances, and the next 95 on how you can get out of that, how you can create more wealth, pull on your creativity, right? Pull on your resourcefulness and create the outcome that you want.
Exactly. And I really love what you said about react or response, right? That is so true, Cardeen. And by all means, everyone, reach out to Cardeen. She can help you with these focuses and, where to go and what to do financially. It's really, really important. You don't, let's stop the worry. The other thing was, is when you're reacting, when you're reacting, notice that you're in that negative state. You're suffering. You're definitely not resourceful, and you have the ability to respond. It's a choice. You can choose to be whichever state you want to be in. You have the choice. You have the choice to take responsibility for your finances and not just leave it up to whoever, right? Yeah. But sometimes, do it yourself, because I know I couldn't do it myself, because I wasn't taught either when I was young. So.
Yeah. And if you want to become more aware of what your story is, if you're having trouble revealing it, peeling back the layers, Liz is the person that you can reach out to help you peel back those layers and identify the root of your beliefs so you can replace them, right? And remember too that, that thought slipped my mind. But again, what you think is what you create. Whatever you expect is what you get. And this is not a one-time thing, right? This is something that you have to do every day, right? It will get less once you've practiced it and you've developed a habit of quickly replacing those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. You realize that they pop into your mind less often, but you will have to do this throughout the rest of your life, right? We will always have doubt. We'll always be afraid at some point in time. It's how you respond to those feelings and thoughts.
Exactly. I love that you mentioned that, because it's so important, because sometimes we think, like tying our shoes, that, oh, I don't do it the first time, I'm a failure. And then you fall back to not tying your shoes. It's the same thing here. You got to keep going. It's a practice. It's a lifestyle. It's daily. I still get anxious. I still get worried about money. Every now and then that thought pops into my mind about, living under a bridge. But it's the intensity now is turned down. Always going to be there, but the intensity is turned down, and I can now quickly dismiss it from a lot of the tools, some of them that we're giving to you today. And we're just giving you the awareness, because we want you to start becoming aware of your beliefs, your thinking, and your feeling. because that's where it starts. Take baby steps, work on one belief at a time.
Yes. And a good way to help you replace these beliefs, right, and these thoughts is to use affirmations, right? People call it different things. Tony Robbins would say, "Oh, I'm not an affirmation person. I declare," right? So whatever you want to call it, whatever serves you, call it that. Affirmations, declarations, do whatever you want. But replace those negative thoughts with thoughts like these. Everything I need to build wealth is available to me right now. And this is a Bible truth, okay? Right? Everything I need to build wealth is available to me right now. The more I focus on my joy, the more money I will make. I am in control of my money. I have the power to attract wealth and money into my life. I am creative, resourceful with my money. Prosperity and money are unlimited. What do you think of these?
Exactly. I think they are great. And just recognize that when you do use these affirmations, you probably feel good, because you could see that even as Cardeen was saying them, she had so much passion and positivity behind her. But notice that sometimes resistance will come up because there's an inner conflict. Somewhere in your subconscious mind, there's a sabotage pattern. So when you know that these affirmations feel good and then all of a sudden it feels bad, then you've shifted into that state. And that's just telling you to be aware. There's something hidden, some belief that you need to work on. And I think maybe on the next slide, I can probably go into that, how they can work on that. Would that be good, I think? What do you think?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that the next slide? Yeah, the next one. Yeah. So oh, no, one more back. One back. Yeah, there we go. This one. So as we talked about, how even Cardeen mentioned the framework for your developing your wealth mindset. Your beliefs really dictate your thoughts on a moment by moment basis. And whatever you believe and you think, that's how you're going to feel. And then of course your feelings dictate what you're going to do. And what you're going to do is the results. So if you're not getting the results in your life, you really need to take a look at these 5 processes that might be occurring or happening in your life. So for example, the belief that there's never enough money, or that you're going to go broke, or that money is hard to make. Some of those thoughts that you might have is, I don't have enough money. I'm never going to make enough. I have to work harder. And that's going to create more stress, more worry, more doubt. And you can't operate from a place of suffering, from a place of negativity. Really hard to get yourself motivated, inspired, and dedicated to doing the things that you need to do, and put the systems and tools and things in place in order to have more wealth. Because then, like Cardeen mentioned too, you're going to start hoarding, right? You're going to hold on to your money. Or maybe the opposite. And I'm guilty of this. I overspent a lot of times because, it wasn't that I was feeling that I was afraid of broke. It's just, I thought I'm never going to have enough anyways, might as well spend it. And I overspent. And I procrastinated for decades on sitting down and doing what I need to do, having an Excel spreadsheet and having someone like Cardeen showing me what I need to do and where. It was really hard at first, especially to come up with, it was kind of like pride, I guess, or feeling inadequate even came up, or failure because I never did it before. And oh my God, what's this person going to think? Or, what is Cardeen going to think about, me? No, they're very helpful. They want you to succeed because they know that's they know they're making an impact. And of course, the results is that I was still didn't have enough money. And of course, when you know yourself, when you're stressed, worried, and you procrastinate and you do other things, your other actions, they causes you to deplete your energy. You get really exhausted. And when you're exhausted, and especially at the end of the day, you really don't feel like doing anything else except maybe sitting in front of the TV and, grabbing a bag of chips and watching Netflix, right? So, yeah. And of course, what you're going to do is going to increase your debt. And that's the lot. I mean, there's some good debt, right, Cardeen? Like, mortgage, things like that. It's good debt. The debt that I'm talking about is where your credit card, right, where you've overspent and your credit cards are, you're only able to pay the minimum amount, which is which I'm sure Cardeen can probably address too for you. But I hope
Yeah.
this helps. This helps people. Is there anything you want to add to this?
And even when you were saying it, Liz, you were talking about, oh, I'll never have enough. Money is so hard to make. All of those thoughts, even when you say them to yourself, do you feel the feeling that you get? It's constrictive, right? It's constrictive compared to saying instead, everything I need to build wealth is available to me right now. You feel more expansive in yourself. When I say it, it adds a smile to my face, just thinking about it, right? So it helps to move you from one state to the next, the way you self-talk, right? Because that's the person you listen to most, yourself. You're always talking in here. So be mindful of the self-talk.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. And then the beliefs we've talked about changing the beliefs, proving them untrue, and replacing the negative thoughts, recognizing them as signals as opposed to things that we have to adopt and hold on to. Replace them as well, right? And the action that you need to take, you need to develop new habits, new money habits. And Liz alluded to some of them before. You need to know where your money is going, right? We need to be responsible stewards of our dollars, right? We need to optimize and use the dollars that we have purposefully in our lives, right? Because wherever you spend your money, you're saying that is what is important to you. So you have to weigh if opportunity cost is something that triggers you to make a better decision. For example, should I buy the shoes or should I buy a stock, right? So you have to weigh the opportunity cost of how you spend your money and build the habit of paying yourself first, right? Paying yourself first. And these are the first initial steps that you can take, right? As you master these habits, you move on to bigger habits, right? Your potential increases and you're able to do more to grow your wealth, right? Make your money work for you. If you're dollar hoarding, your money is not working for you. Actually, it's working against you. Inflation is slowly eating away at it, right? And there are courses that you can take to help you build these habits, to hold you accountable when you're developing these new habits, right? For example, I have my quick start course, and I also have a group coaching session that can help you build these habits. And I know Liz has courses too that can help you develop the right mindset in order to accelerate your wealth creation.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've got the steps that you take. These are great steps. You've got to know where your money is going and get out of that financial insecurity, looking at, I don't have enough. I don't, because that's just going to create more. And have an abundance mindset. And what I mean, yeah, you may not be a millionaire or tri-millionaire or have, $100 million in the bank right now. That's okay. You have what you have right now. But how can you get more? How can, what can you do to get more? And then this I don't know. This is something Cardeen's going to have to talk about, but make your money work for you. I don't know how to do that, but I do know that I did invest in a life insurance for myself so that if something happened to me, my kids would be looked after, right? Because I was approaching that age where it was important. They were still going through school, they were still starting out on their careers. They're living with me, not their father. So I wanted to make sure that they had something. And I could see that that money is all growing for me. So I was putting my money to use. Definitely get educated. Yeah, if you want to move on to, I have a slide too. I can talk about the steps to wealth mindset.
Okay, so let me just, since we're on this one, let me just talk about getting educated. And that is part of what Liz's slide will help you do too. Get educated. So get educated about the tools that you can use to grow your wealth, understand money and how it works, right? Get educated about the financial tools that you can put into play. Liz mentioned her life insurance policy as a protection tool, right? There are other tools out there, the TFSA, the RSPs, tax-exempt life insurance. Life insurance is not only a protection tool, it's actually a wealth building tool, a tax shelter. Getting a mentor, right? Somebody to help you along the path. Liz can mentor you when it comes to your mindset, building out that belief system, building leadership inside of your business, or even inside of your household, right? Read books. And I decided to just bring a few of my favorites, right? Think and Grow Rich. Inside of it, you'll have steps in there to help you build the right mindset, things that you can talk to yourself every day. To help change your mindset. Another favorite of mine is Working with the Law, right? This is one is, oh, I can't see the name here, Raymond Hollywell, right? And of course everybody knows this guy here,
Um, yeah.
right? I love this one.
Yep.
This is my favorite of his, right? And this lady said, you don't know what how to make your money work for you. This one, read this one, right? Help you
Okay.
grow
I've
your
read
wealth.
his other book. Yeah, but I haven't read that one yet. Yeah, this is great.
So let me know which
Not
guy this is. Is it
this one. This one. Yeah. So 5 steps to really build that new mindset. The power of awareness. We've talked a lot about that because I think that is crucial and really key to understanding that worrying, the more you worry about money, the more concerns you have. Awareness of what state of being you're in. Is it negative? That creates more financial insecurity for you versus financial abundance. Like we mentioned, recognizing that you already have some, but you want more. And how can you create more? The Power of Imagination. I believe that book by the Think and Grow Rich talks about the power of imagination too. When you think about it, yeah, it's like, what do I have now? But what do I want to create more of? Cardeen mentioned affirmations is one way, but really just taking the time to close your eyes and picture and think about, what will my life be like? Even that one step. If I had this much more, or if I paid off my debts, or if I did this, what would it look like? And how would it feel? So it's really important to get at the feeling of it, because our brains work on pictures and images. If I told you to think of a pink elephant, you have, right? You think of a pink elephant. You just can't help not think of a pink elephant. We use imagination all the time. We're always imagining the worst case scenario. What if you imaginated the best case scenario, right? We use imagination all the time. And if it wasn't for imagination, where would we be? We wouldn't have those Disney movies, right? We wouldn't have people like Think and Grow Rich showing us how to think and grow rich. God, I forgot his name when you showed up that cash book with
Robert
him.
Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki, right? He used a vision of what he wanted as well. So it's like using your imagination is key. And I know as kids, there's a belief system again that we're probably told, get your head out of the clouds, stop being imaginative, all those kind of things. Imagination and visualization is key. And then, of course, the other tool is when I talked about the questions, is it true? Is it not true? How do I really know that it's not true? And who would I be if I didn't have this thought, right? That's when you make a decision, because you can make a decision. If I didn't have this thought, well, then I'd be able to be creative and say, okay, I'm going to make a decision. As soon as you make a decision, that's going to propel you forward. How many times do you make a decision about what you want to eat, right? How many, and already you're starting to make that for dinner, or, you, even if you think about it, maybe if you're really hungry, you start to salivate, right? Because you made a decision that moves you forward. Gratitude. Focus on the present. Be grateful for what you have already. Every time you go grocery shopping, be grateful for the grocers. Take a look at all the people that had to be involved to bring all this food to you into that grocery store, right? The gas station. Start being grateful that you have enough money to fill your car. Be grateful for the people that had to refine the oil to bring the gas. Be grateful for all the oil. Like, if you take it, you start thinking about that, that's going to put you in a different frame of mind as well. And then, of course, there's the power of alignment. The truth of that's the truth of who you are. Not only aligning your mind, but aligning your body. You got to take care of your body, because your health is your wealth, right, Cardeen? That's important. As well as your soul. Some of the things we talked about here is Affirmations is good for your soul. Gratitude is good for your soul. I think you talked about meditating is good for your soul. Maybe dance to music. If you're finding yourself, you can't get out of that worry, pick a favorite tune. Could be Taylor Swift. I like Teddy Swims lately. It's Lost Control. I pretend I'm singing to the mic. Get up and do that. That's going to shift your state as well.
Laugh therapy, right?
Laugh therapy, exactly. Maybe you have a YouTube of your favorite comedian. Put it on for 5 minutes. It really doesn't take long. You can, even if you just take a minute to just breathe and just feel your breath, right? That's going to shift you into a powerful state as well. So it's possible to have more. You can change your beliefs. You can change your identity. Work with Cardeen to help you identify how to create more. And you can work with me so that I can help you reinforce a lot of those beliefs and to develop those lifestyle practices for you.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
And this is an awesome framework, right? And awareness. Be constantly aware of your thoughts, right? Imagination. Create the future in your mind so it can come out into reality, right? It's just like creating a painting, right? First you have to see it before you can put it on the canvas. Decisions. Your destiny is created by the decisions you make every single day, right? What you decide to do with your money in an instant will determine what will happen in the future. If you decide to spend it on that pair of shoes when you have 20 in the closet, that's going to impact your future, right? And gratitude. Guess what? If you're not thankful for what you have, you'll lose it, right? Because it doesn't feel welcome. It's just the story of the talents in the Bible, right? The person who wasn't grateful for the talents that his master gave him and used it well, right? He ended up losing it, right? And power of alignment, truth of who you are. Know that you are worthy of it. You are worthy of wealth, right? You deserve it. There's nothing in you that makes you undeserving of wealth. I believe you actually create wealth with what you put out, right? You provide a good or a service and you create wealth. It's unlimited, right? So go out there, believe you're worthy, and create wealth with what you offer.
There you go. Yeah, I see you put the book in the.
Yes, I did put the book. And you know what? My favorite book of all time about wealth is the Bible. Right?
Wow. It's true though. There is so many. One of my coaches used to quote it all the time, and it's true. Yeah. There's there's another good book that I use a lot. The Mindset by Carol Dweck. This shows you how we have a fixed mindset and how you can develop a growth mindset. So that's a really good book. There's lots of other self-help books out there as well. So,
yeah. So as I said, get educated, right? Reach out to people who can help you. You don't have to take everything that somebody says. Pick the pieces that you feel will work in your life, right? Everybody has their opinion. Figure out what works with your belief system. What is true to you, as Liz said on her previous slide. Be true to yourself in whatever you do, right? And yes, case studies. Because guess what? The proof is in the pudding. Right? So Liz, I believe you have some stories or a story to share about a client of yours.
Oh yeah, she was a real hoarder and very frugal, and it's just something that she taught from her mom. So she could never see beyond what she had, and paycheck in, paycheck out, always skeptical about investments. And one of the things she always used to say too was, I don't have money. I don't have money. So I actually got her to sit down and take a look at what she did have. Like she had her condo, how much is that worth? Take a look at all the RSPs. Like she took an inventory. When I got her to take an inventory of what she actually had, it was like, oh, like it's funny because we just get into that repertoire, right? Of we think we don't have money. I don't have enough money. But when you take an inventory, you'll see that you actually do have money. you have wealth, you have, I look at my house too, the equity that's there. So that kind of reminds me that I do have money. And then we worked on that quite a bit. We also worked on her job because she was working in a toxic environment and didn't like it. And so she wanted a remote job, and she said, "Oh, I'm never going to find a remote job. There are no remote jobs out there." So we worked on that mindset through the 5 processes and kept putting it through and putting it through. So she found a job that's remote because her dream was really to be able to go to Japan and work remotely while she's enjoying Japan. And her hobby is photography. Guess what? She didn't even want to spend the money to go and do these things, but now she's doing it because she's realizing the potential that if she gets these photographs, what she can do with it when she comes back. And that's going to create a business for her. So we kind of created a business as well. So that's what I'm saying. It's all what you think about. So she's now in Japan for 3 months. She's coming back in June. So I'm excited to follow up with her and see how Japan worked out for her.
Awesome. That's an awesome story. You shared how she was able to identify the limiting beliefs in her life, how she could change them, how she expanded her own potential by doing that, right? Photography, a hobby that could be converted into a source of income, right? And allowing her the freedom, because now she's relying on her hobby as an income that allows her to travel as well. So the thing is, anything is possible if you just believe it, right? And know that you have the resources inside of yourself. And if you don't, there are people who are able to help you pull it out, right? And again, as you said, we grow up learning certain things. From my perspective, I'm from the Caribbean, right? And in school, there were maybe like 5 jobs that you'll grow up to want to become, right? We knew that education was key. We all believe that, right? But we thought about being a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, a teacher. Those were just the restrictions that we had in our own mind. But then as you get more information, you learn that you could be an investor, you can own properties, you have passive income, active income. As you open up your mind with knowledge, open up your mind by surrounding yourself with people who have done other things, you will learn that you are also capable of doing those things too. In my coaching program, I'm just using one person, right? She's later on in life, and she's worked a number of years in corporate, and she figured that it was too late for her, right? But I took her through the steps. She realized that she was overspending in certain areas. She found that she could repurpose some money into investing and even buying an asset that created more income for her, created another income stream, right? And now she's looking at creating another business. So it's never too late to start. It's never too late to think outside the box or even blow up the box, right? There is no box, right? So you know what? Again, reach out to us if you want to talk even more. I realize our time is winding down. And if you want to help, if you need help, right, and getting your finances in order, building out new habits, there are courses available on my website, an online course, and also there's also group coaching opportunities. If you want to get in on any of these are a couple coupon codes that you can use for the online course gift, and for the coaching gift 50, right? And if you want to reach out to me to book a call, to look at your finances, reach out at info@moneymattersca.com, and even follow me on Instagram or Facebook for more content. And if you want to get in touch with Liz, she also has here a free an offer for you with her ebook. I'll let her talk about this some more.
Yeah, thank you, Cardeen. Yeah, so this is a free book for you to download today, How to Live an Energized Life. What it's really about is, remember I talked about how you deplete your energy because of all that worry, you're exhausted at the end of the day. And I talked about the 5 powers of awareness, imagination, gratitude. I go into more detail in the ebook, so that ebook, or just to cover it off, if you're busy maybe taking notes, and it's available for you in the ebook, as well as there's ways that you can connect with me at the end of the ebook. It says, if you want to connect with me, I have a Facebook group that I go live in every week. people can show up if they like and maybe get a little bit of coaching, as well as if you want to find out more about other programs and that I have, please feel free to reach out. All my contact information, as you could see, Cardeen's got that floating along the bottom there, or it's in my ebook as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope from this you realize that you are not limited by your circumstances. You have the potential to be whatever you believe and think you can be, right? Once you've decided what you want to be, take action, and you will get the results. Do not be discouraged if you're set back. Just keep doing it, right? Just keep doing it. Keep revisiting your thoughts, be aware, reinforce those positive thoughts and beliefs in yourself. Take action. Reach out to people who can help you. Surround yourself with people who are where you want to be, right? Who can help bring you up. And again, guys, if you have any questions, we have like 4 minutes that if you'd like to put a question in the chat, we can answer those questions for about 4 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this was great. Thank you, Cardeen, for we joined forces here. This was great. Yeah, Peace said something about the Bible. Yeah, I'm learning that too. In fact, one of my coaches was used to bring stuff in, and that's how I learned more about the Bible. And it was great, but it's so true.
Yeah. And it's a process. It's an everyday process, because just last night I came across a Bible verse that blew one of my limiting beliefs out of the water, right? That one I mentioned with more money, more problem. Proverbs 10:22. It just blew it out of the water, right? God's blessings bring riches and without suffering, right? So again,
which one is? Yeah, Peace is saying she's getting. Okay. I'll put my email in the chat, and maybe I can email it to you if that's okay. I don't know if it's me or you. Which one of us? Is it mine? Anyways, I'll put my email in the chat there, and you can email me if you like, and I can send you the ebook. Sorry about that. My apologies. Yeah, you were saying something about action, and that's what I wanted to leave people with too, is you're so right. I mean, we hear Tony Robbins take massive action, right? But I believe, yes, have a massive action goal, but what is that one little step that you can take towards that goal, and recognize that, if it's not working out, that's okay. Give yourself some feedback. Take a look at, okay, what can I do differently next time? That's how you learn, right? And that's how you get, if you're not getting the results that you want, still take action, because give yourself feedback. That's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Peace said it earlier in the chat, right? You'll continue to make the mistakes until you've learned the lesson, right? And hopefully, I think that is kind of coincides with what Einstein says. You cannot keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. Right?
Yeah,
so if
insanity.
That's insanity.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So basically, change your thoughts, change your mindset, and you'll be able to change your life. So again, we are wrapping this up. It's been 58 minutes. Thank you all who were on the live. Thank you for coming on live. And for those who missed it, feel free to watch the replay and type in the comments replay, so we know that you watched it on the replay. Thank you all for joining, and we are going to end the live stream. It was awesome. We look forward to chatting more with you. We'll do this again, right, Liz?
You bet. It was fun.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, all.